Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Retail Media Thursday. I'm Dan Sherring, RVP here at EMEA at Skai, and today our Retail Media Specialist joining us is Paul from Tambo. Got the drinks ready, so let's get into it. All right, well, Paul, thanks for joining us today on Retail Media Thursday. Just to kick us off, do you want to give us an introduction to yourself and Tambo?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Paul Adams. I'm CEO and founder of Tambo. Started Tambo 5 years ago after a career in digital, stretching through creative, web, tech, media, and saw an opportunity to start a business around Amazon that could expand into marketplaces and other retailers. We're going 5 years now. So obviously we work with you guys, know you well. It's a good partnership.
Lovely, no, thank you, and it was great that you got on that opportunity when it first arose. Now, just before we start, I think we'll cover where we are today. So we're at the Crown Sceptre in Great Titchfield Street. You kindly allowed me to choose today's pub.
Good choice.
I understand you've been here before.
I have, yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, I used to frequent it when I used to work in Charlotte Street, actually.
Right, nice.
In the creative industry. So.
Well, the reason I chose it for our Retail Media Thursday was it's actually the first pub I started my Media Thursday career in. So over 15 years ago, it hasn't changed too much, which is great. And we've got the drinks ready, and we'll dive into things.
Let's go.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
So you described Tambo as a global marketplace solutions provider. So within retail media opportunities, how do you think there's a difference between traditional retailers and marketplaces? And within those opportunities, is one more compelling than the other?
Right. Good question, and something that we're obviously considering as we look at how we expand our services more into traditional retailers. I think context is important here. At the moment, retail media is Amazon largely. I mean, it's about 80% in the US because you've got businesses like Walmart and Instacart and Target that are more established retail media. Over in Europe, it's probably more like 90%. So when you talk about retail media, I think fundamentally at the moment we're talking about Amazon. But that's changing, and whilst the traditional retailers make up a small percentage of the total, it's where all the dramatic growth is. So I think that context is important, and I think consequently there is significant differences in what a marketplace and what a traditional retailer offer in terms of retail media. And primarily difference is that marketplaces like Amazon were designed for retail media from day one. And consequently you're more able to target, have more opportunities for creativity and brand experience. Whereas when you look at the traditional side, is that effectively those sites are being repurposed. There are platforms developed for simple basket shopping journeys, and now they've woken up and seen the opportunity, and they're adapting. So essentially they're all at the moment down level versions of where like Amazon are or eBay are, but with the help of technologies like Skai and other partners, they're catching up. So I mean, so ultimately in terms of attractiveness, marketplaces are far more attractive currently.
It makes sense, we definitely see a lot of that, right? Amazon is far more advanced in its capabilities, in its ability to offer the right data, the right targeting, the right ad formats. But we're definitely starting to see that trend of retailers trying to catch up. I think Walmart will be the holy grail for people to try and mirror, but whether there's a retailer that really fits that bill in EMEA is probably the question mark, right? Because we're really fragmented, multiple geos, different grocers per different territories, and be interesting to see how quickly they catch up.
What you're seeing is more and more retailers coming on board, more and more recognise the opportunity, and consequently, it's not just about more retail media sales on a site. It's the breadth of that, and how every week we read about another retailer that's opening up to media.
Indeed, we definitely see a lot of that. And now, I suppose we've seen this massive growth in retail media, especially across retailers in the last couple of years. I mean, I don't think that's going to be news to anyone today, right? But what do you think is the primary driver of that? And if you look into the future, do you think the bubble's going to burst on retail media?
I think it's coming from two sides. So, firstly, from the retailers themselves, as we just mentioned, that there's more and more coming on board, and that's driving, that's effectively driving growth. And you look at, well, why they're coming on board, and when you think like the omnichannel retailers or the grocery.com, is that they need to make money. The challenge with their platforms before retail media is that they didn't make the margins, and consequently they've been slow to invest in that. Retail media and what they've seen happen with Amazon, a light bulb moment of, hold on, we've got a lot of traffic here, we can monetize it, this can be a new high margin revenue stream. So they're really driving it with the brands, and then you've got the brands themselves, with the retail websites opening up, presenting more media opportunities. With those media opportunities comes more data. Now, one of the challenges that the brands have is that previously is getting data out of the retailers. Now, these media opportunities provide data which enables them to understand better the shopper and understand the shopping paths, understand their audiences better, which has been a black box for a long time. And then the third area is the market itself. A few years ago we saw the death of the cookie. Consequently, the power moved from more the search social arena to the retail. So suddenly they're sitting on a really valuable pool of data that they can sell. So it's a perfect storm that is creating this really exciting position. Yeah,
we definitely see the kind of importance of the ability, that cookieless world, the rich first-party data that you can have access to, the more personalisation that you can provide your end customer, right? But we've also been hearing a lot of chat in 2023, profitability, keeping an eye on costs, what's the real incremental value and the real incremental performance that retail media is driving. Do you still, see the potential for a bubble to burst, or do you think the retail media is going to go from strength to strength, maybe have a reset, but continue to grow and flourish?
I can really only see it growing for the reasons I've outlined. I can't see why at this point the bubble will burst. Ultimately, yes, there are definite cost challenges, profitability challenges, but that's if you're looking at retail media from a sales point of view, which it is, but more so it's an opportunity for marketing, an opportunity to drive awareness, build engagement, connect with a consumer that is increasingly turning to e-commerce. So they've got to market where the consumer is, and that's increasingly on retail media sites. So and that's very much a drive from Amazon. That Amazon's trying to attract more brand owners, more marketing investment, and I've been really seeing marketing departments starting to wake up to that opportunity. And that, there's budgets there that enable further growth.
I also agree with that. Right, I think what will happen is there'll be more questions asked of retail media. You've got to be more measurable, more impactful, more performance driven. But I think what that will naturally do is evolve the marketplace to, and push the publishers to bring us more data, improve the API connections. You've got, a wider ecosystem of tools and technologies growing to provide digital shelf, connect the offline to the online, and then start to map that, full customer journey. So I really think, it's going to continue.
You're seeing that with what Amazon are trying to do, and I think the others will, and I think to an extent some of the grocers as well, is how you're able to understand the impact of your advertising on Tesco.com or Amazon on offline sales. And if you start to have those studies and that data available, you can see the greater influence that enables the FD to sign off the budget.
Of course, makes sense. We've touched on both marketplaces and retailers. I suppose if we kind of refocus on retailers, do you think we're moving to a world where all retail sites are going to end up being pay to play, and ultimately in that scenario, how do brands win? Because it presents some challenges, right?
The first thing to say is that marketplaces are already pay to play. You think about Amazon is the biggest marketplace. Even eBay environments and other smaller marketplaces, they've become pay to play, and the reason they have is that the way the algorithm works on a marketplace like an Amazon is that sales velocity is a key part of determining your ranking. And the main way in which you can drive sales velocity is through advertising. So if you want to get up the rankings, you need to advertise. And now, if you look at the real estate of an Amazon page, it's 60% advertising, right? They've done what Google, I'm old enough to remember what Google was like.
Me too.
You know, in the early days where this is pure or beautiful organic place. Google were like, hold on, we can make some more money here. So they started bringing advertising in, and Amazon.
Let's take advantage of this left-hand side of the page.
Amazon taking that journey. Once Tesco and Sainsbury's and Carrefour, get hooked on that drug, they'll be looking to ways of making more money, and they'll start putting more advertising in. So, pay to play is an inevitable consequence of that, and we're seeing it in Amazon. We're going to see it, increasingly through other retailers as they monetize their platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point that you bring up, because I actually read a stat that 47% of consumers don't even notice the advertising on an Amazon page, which kind of blows my mind. I thought I'd survey kind of my key demographic, my wife, who does the majority of that. And I think she was almost wholly unaware that a lot of these were ads, which kind of goes to show how, with that kind of thought process, you can really take advantage of it. And I think we will move to that arena of pure, pay to play, and it will continue to advance and evolve. Let's wrap up with a final question. So there's obviously some recent update from eBay. I know you guys have a really strong presence across eBay, but they've recently launched a function that will allow your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, or your Pinterest account to be linked directly into your eBay storefront. What do you see as the significance to that move? And then I'll follow that up with a secondary question of, long term, or as you look into the future, how important do you think connectivity between different channels is going to become?
I'm absolutely thrilled with what they've done. Right? I think Amazon's always been the kind of leader, and as I said, it's the blueprint, and eBay has really, in the last 5 years, transformed from like that second-hand site, where you put your kids' toys on to sell, to actually being, a serious global marketplace. It's gone through that transformation, and consequently, as you say, we've now got a lot of clients that sell on there, and they sell new products on that platform as much as refurbished or else. So they've gone through that transformation, and then this next move goes ahead of Amazon. I think they've taken a lead with this. Like, Amazon's view is, well, we're not going to. They might put the button on the brand store so you can share it, but nobody does that. And it's kind of superfluous to the experience. With eBay really fully integrating, it's really bringing, social and marketplaces together. So that discovery phase and that purchase phase are meshed together, and that has great benefits. Well, great benefits for eBay because they get more traffic. And that by enabling those brands to post on social, and the products that are then featured on eBay, so it's building a much closer connection, stronger traffic. It's really good for the brands that are selling on eBay because they can then leverage their social media advertising or following to then bring them to sale and sell more. If they sell more, then eBay does well because it gets more percentage fees out of it. So I think it's really smart. I expect that Amazon might follow it. I think others will be looking at it. Like some of the retailers that are developing, I think they will, and they're trying to also counteract social commerce. We know TikTok commerce is growing. Google Shopping, they're looking at what to do there, and I think it's a great piece of innovation. So I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely really an interesting move, and I think you'll see others follow, right? Because I think it goes back to that kind of question on retail media. Does full funnel marketing exist within retail media? I know lots of people will say absolutely not, but I think you can probably cover, actually, if you look at a traditional funnel, you've got awareness, you've got at the top, you've got conversions at the bottom. Amazon alone does the ad formats that cover kind of every stage of that customer journey. But now you're getting into this connectivity between, more traditional awareness channels of Facebook and Instagram, and then, moving through to that in-purchase,
I think that's also like partly a misconception that people have about retail media, is that it's purely about conversion. If you go back to my point of like, one of the reasons why brands are doing it is data. And one of the reasons that the retailers have so much power is that they have retail data. Well, how that data is then used, it's not just used on the retail site. You think with Amazon, you can buy all this media off-site, and you can buy rich formats that are interactive, video, big formats on devices, so, and even voice. So, but it's using that data. So, a retail media solution is absolutely awareness, engagement, and conversion, not just conversion on its own.
And it comes down to then knowing how to interpret that data, how to use that data, and then how to drive it forward, right? And I think that's probably the encompassing role of technology that starts to play in that. Well, Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure. We do like to wrap up with just some quick fire questions.
I'm nervous.
Nothing to be alarmed of. I'll give you peace of mind that they're literally going to come off the top of my head. So
that's what worries me.
So, given we're in London, and I actually passed a few restaurants, so London's got a rich restaurant street. Out of all your restaurants in London, which would be your favourite?
Oh God, that's it. I'm slightly out of the game on that front now.
I mean, you can say Nando's, but there are people watching. So
I'll never say Nando's. I think Rocker.
A great choice.
Was a firm favourite for client entertainment, so I'll go with that.
Excellent.
That's my choice.
It's definitely one of my favourites as well.
I assume it's still around.
Yeah, it is. I actually went about 2 months ago. The black cod was still
great,
fantastic.
I look forward to things like that.
yeah, indeed. Maybe we'll stop filming and head over there. I've just booked a holiday, so this one's top of mind. Favourite holiday destination?
Well, it's very poignant because this year we're going to the Italian lakes.
Very
Italy
nice.
is my favourite country, and it was the holiday that we booked in 2020 got cancelled through COVID.
Right.
So I'd say Italy, and I'd say the lakes because that's our
very nice
Lake Garda. So looking forward to that.
Excellent. I'm actually off to Rome next week, so lots of people have been talking about TV shows. So much content out there. But I kind of want to know, what's your favourite TV series of all time?
Oh, okay, that's
it's a tough one. They're not going to be easy.
It's got to be Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
I think
nice.
It's probably the only one I've watched again. Absolutely love that. I'm a big fan of Stranger Things, actually. Mainly because I bonded with my teenage daughter on that.
Lovely.
So we can watch together. But over the 10 years, I think, it might even be older than that. There's probably people listening to this going, what's Breaking Bad?
What are these two old guys chatting about? Brilliant. We'll move on. Favourite live experience, so a gig or...
Well, I'm a big rugby fan, so it'll be watching England beat New Zealand at Twickenham.
At Twickenham, fantastic.
And that happens in 1 every 10 years.
Excellent. I'm sure you had one or two of these on the time, right?
Easily accessible.
Excellent. I was going to throw a curveball out as the last question, and it was going to be, can you name Santa's reindeers? And then realised that I couldn't, so I couldn't verify your answer.
I couldn't answer that.
So we'll go with something a little bit, easier. Favourite film of all time?
Favourite film of all time? Oh God, what was it called? I'll go with the second one because I remember this. Bill Murray, Lost in Translation.
Very nice.
I have a secret love of Japan and Tokyo. I think that's the setting as much as the story.
It's one of the places that's definitely on my bucket list. I'm very, very keen to get there. But Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks ever so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.